It was supposed to be a normal flight, just a quick trip from Savannah to Miami, but halfway through the clouds, something got on board that wasn't on the passenger list. The plane took off like any other. Middle of the afternoon, clear skies, passengers chatting, kids crying, people half listening to the safety briefing. Seat 14B was taken by a man named Delange Augustin, 30-something, quiet, traveling with his sister. He boarded normally. No red flags, no shouting, no reason to believe that in less than an hour, he would become the center of a full-blown airborne possession. It started just after the seatbelt sign turned off. According to witnesses, Delange began shaking. Not like a panic attack, not like nerves. This was violent, rhythmic, like his body was glitching. His head tilted back, eyes rolled up, lips moving, but not speaking. His body was contorting into unhuman-like shapes. A nearby passenger claimed they smelled burnt ozone, like scorched wires or a lightning strike, just before Delange snapped upright. The flight lights flickered for exactly 6 seconds, then stabilized. The cabin crew later swore the cockpit clock had lost time, precisely 66 seconds gone, with no explanation. A passenger seated directly behind Delange told investigators something strange. Before the screaming started, she saw his neck twitching violently, like something was moving underneath his skin. She said it reminded her of a snake slithering through muscle, unnatural, like it wasn't part of him. Another witness swore they heard whispers before Delange stood up. Not from him, but around him. She described it as a low humming chant in a language that felt evil. His sister reached for him, asked if he was okay. That's when he screamed. Not a yell, not a cry for help, a deep, guttural roar that exploded down the aisle like a shockwave. Passengers jumped, the crew turned, and then Delange stood up. He charged the cabin door. Flight attendants rushed to stop him. He threw one aside like she weighed nothing. Another tried to hold him back. He punched her in the face and screamed, "He's coming through me! He's coming through me!" By now, people were screaming. A man from row 22 tried to tackle him. Delange bit his shoulder and kept moving forward. He was foaming at the mouth. His eyes had gone completely white, not rolled back, just white, glassy, and full of hate. And he wouldn't stop growling. "You can't land? You can't stop it. It's already inside." One woman said it felt like the air got heavier, harder to breathe, like something had entered the plane that didn't belong in this world. When Delange tried to reach the cabin door, his hands began to bleed, not from injuries, but from cruciform-shaped wounds that appeared spontaneously on his palms. A woman, filming on her phone, said her screen cracked mid-recording, even though she wasn't touching it. She later reviewed the footage, but at the peak of Delange's scream, the video glitched and showed a second face behind his. Something with horns. A flight attendant screamed that his eyes turned fully black, not rolled back, not shadowed, just black, like ink had spilled across his entire cornea. The whole thing was caught on video. It went viral within hours. In the footage, you can hear the chaos, the screaming, the thuds, the rage. But what shook people the most was the sound Delange made before collapsing. A screech. Something high-pitched, almost mechanical, not human. Several passengers said it made their ears ring and their stomachs turn. A voice like that shouldn't come from a human throat. He was eventually subdued by multiple passengers using zip ties and belts pinned to the aisle, his face pressed into the carpet. He didn't speak again, just stared, smiling. The plane made an emergency landing in Miami. FBI, TSA, and paramedics were waiting. Delange was removed on a stretcher, silent, unresponsive, but smiling the whole time. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't high. One EMT later admitted under oath, "We tried to draw blood, but the needle bent. It was like his veins didn't want to be touched." They used a thermal scanner on his chest, and it read 0, as if his heart had stopped. The toxicology report? Clean. No substances, no medical issues, no seizures. His sister told reporters that he had been acting strange for weeks, withdrawing, hearing voices, talking in riddles. And the night before the flight, he woke up screaming and clawing at the wall, yelling, "Don't let it in, don't let it in through the air." Paramedics reported that even while strapped to the gurney, Delange's pulse was abnormally low, as if he were on the edge of death. But neurologically, he was alert, smiling, breathing slow. A priest who reviewed the case later said, "The classic pattern of spiritual occupation. The body is slowed, because he's not the one in control of his body anymore." Hours after the landing, airport janitorial staff were asked to clean the plane's rear cabin, but they refused. One said he heard whispering coming from the bathroom, even though no one was inside. Another swore he saw wet footprints leading from the rear of the plane to seat 14B. But it hadn't rained, and no one had gone barefoot. After the flight, a priest was brought in to bless the aircraft. But the moment he began praying, the fire alarm went off. Without smoke. He stopped. The alarm stopped. He tried again. Same result. He left the plane and refused to return. Weeks later, an anonymous video was uploaded from an account traced back to a public library in Florida. In it, Delange, pale, gaunt, wild-eyed, stares into the camera and whispers, "It didn't leave, it's flying again. Look around next time you're in the sky. It wants a body, and you're not praying enough." The video vanished hours later. The video was removed from most sites within days. Airline records won't release the full black box data. Delange? He was hospitalized, but days later, he vanished from the facility, walked out past security. No trace. His sister hasn't spoken to him since. Some say he's still out there, walking around, still smiling, and every time you board a flight, just remember, if you ever feel something watching you during your next flight, maybe it's not just turbulence you should be afraid of. This is Truth is Terror. Subscribe for more stories that should never have happened, but did. Until next time, sleep well.